Hello, hello. Welcome to the Pharmacy Seeds Network live stream for Thursday night. This is a TFSN interactive live stream. I believe this is number 12, live stream number 91. It looks like we got some viewers in here already, so hello everyone. Not seeing anything up in chat yet, but I'm sure you'll be here shortly. It was a long whirlwind day for me, but I made it. Geeky Gardens, what's going on, Jack? How you doing? I even made it with a cup of coffee, fresh cup of coffee. That's pretty good. You save any of that potato soup for me, Jack? I bet you ate it all. Still 2 bowls in the fridge, one for me, one for you, huh? I just have to figure out how to get to Florida for a bowl of soup. Hello, Chris Jarvis, how are you? Boy, I went a little shy on the sugar in this coffee. I've been shaving my sugar back a little bit every day. And I'm down to a full tablespoon again. Down to, yeah. I guess it could be worse. I'm doing alright. Doing alright. Long day today. Thursdays are my my banger days. I work a mowing job with another friend, and so I go do that all day, and then I come home and I feed chickens and I feed chicks and I do chores and farm chores, and I try and get done what I can here on the farm before the live stream. Then we go over to Brent's live stream, and then I usually go back out on the farm and work, although we might actually get some rain tonight. Looking at the radar, I think we might actually get some rain, which would be phenomenal because we are in serious deficit on rain. The few thunderstorms we've had were just these little, I mean, the last one came at us like the hammers of hell, and then it went around us, and I think we got like 0.02 inches total rainfall out of it. And people to the east and to the west of me got 1 inch. So that's just this little glitch spot I'm in. Hey, Justin Good Earth, what's going on, dude? Justin, we're going to have to catch up soon. I think I'm going to be starting my TFR live show, I think this coming Tuesday, the 22nd. And I would love to have you on as a guest. So let me know if you're interested in that. I'm pretty sure we're going to go live this Tuesday. I spent some time talking to Lucky last night after I was on Quantum Connections with her. And it looks like we're gonna go live soon, so that's awesome. We were supposed to get bad rain today, but it went around us. Yeah, that happens here all the time, or it'll come. Most of our stuff comes from the west. The last one came from the north and went around us, but usually they come from the west. And the ridges on the mountains on the other side, and just the way our topography is laid out, it ends up, the storms will usually split around the mountains and go to the south of us and to the north of us and miss us. Or if they hit us, we only get like a little bit of it. We don't get the whole thing. But it's part of being in the geography we're in. YTFP, what's going on, dude? Oh, geez, don't worry about being late, man. I'm the one who's got to worry about being late. You are under no obligation, although I appreciate your participation. How's things with you? Oh, you messaged me on MeWe. Okay, good. Yeah, I haven't been back to my MeWe since, I don't know, yesterday sometime. It's just been crazy. Like Wednesday, Thursday, Friday is usually crazy. And then I was on Quantum Connections last night, so that took a little more time. And then Lucky and I talked afterward, and that took a lot more time than I planned, so I actually had to come home and finish foliar feeds tonight because I didn't get them done last night. I started doing them, but it was like 1:30 in the morning, and I was like, I really can't. I got to get up tomorrow. I really can't keep going, so I pulled off. And then I go out to do the foliar tonight, and it's starting to sprinkle while I'm doing it. I'm like, man, I hope the plants have a chance to absorb some of this before it gets washed into the soil. I mean, it's still good, but it's not as good when it's not through the leaves. Yeah, it's good to get missed by tornadoes, that's for sure. When sea breeze storms come from the west, they often split and go either side of me. I think they all the paving, concrete, and speedway causes a vortex or something. Yeah, yeah. Well, it's amazing if you really start to watch the storms around you in your local area. It's amazing how much you can start to predict. You can't predict the storm itself, but you can predict how the storm is going to act based on your topography and past storm history. So I've gotten to the point where if I see like a big thunderstorm coming at me from the west, I kind of know it's going to split, and I know it has to be a really powerful, intense cell with good energy and good humidity in the air to make it across that divide, across the river, and into us and actually dump rain on us. Because we have the Catskill Mountains to the west of us, and so that elevation drop actually drops the pressure, and so you lose that pressure gain that you would normally get that would make rain precipitate out. It actually works the other way here where we are. Yeah, don't mention tornadoes. Yeah, you guys got everything weird in Ohio, huh? Dogman, Bigfoot, tornadoes, Sasquatch. I said that. Just all kinds of weird anomalies. UFOs. Ohio is a crazy place. A funny thing is, advancing eco-agriculture, the guy who founded that, John Kempf, is out of Ohio, and their farm and their operation and their business is in Ohio. Middlefield, Ohio. Sorry, Chris. Dig a hole, put the garbage in it, close it, and play Nintendo. I can predict the rain. I think it's going to hit me, and I don't water the garden. It will go around me. Yeah, I get that too, Geeky. Sometimes I'll see a rainstorm coming, and I'll go out and water anyway, just to make sure we get the rain, because I get that too. I'll go, oh, it's going to rain. Radar's looking good. We're solid. And I go, I won't water. And then, sure enough, it skips over us. It's like, yeah, I should have watered. Yeah, dig a hole with a garbage can, and Yahoo ate all that. Yeah, Yahoo will do that. You too, Justin? It's interesting thing. In the permaculture courses, they talk about revitalizing barren desert plains by planting. You'd be surprised how few trees it takes to help stimulate rainstorms again. But I think it was Australia, in the desert of Australia, they were planting tree lines, and I forget, there were a couple other things they were doing, like integrating permaculture, but they found they were able to revitalize the rainfall in that area by doing that. Amazing what a little tiny environmental tweak will do. And then it's amazing when you don't water how little rain you get. Well, how's the growing going out there, Justin? And how's things down your way, Jack? I know you guys are both growing stuff. Also by using permaculture, by using mushrooms and straw and sand mounds to trap water. Oh, yeah. But I'm talking about encouraging actual rainfall on like desert plains. But yeah, that works well too. The mushrooms, the fungi, actually hold on to a tremendous amount of moisture, and actually a lot of that is driven by the amount of carbon in the soil. carbon has a tremendous capacity to hold moisture, and it's not necessarily moisture that you can detect in the soil, like you can't feel it with your hands, but inside those little aggregate structures that the soil forms, and you get a good crumb structure, there's a whole ecosystem in there. John Kempf just did a talk on this 2 or 3 weeks ago. I think it was the one about manganese, unlocking manganese, and it's amazing how much moisture is actually in those crumb structures. Well worth listening to. Let's see. Ohio weather changes at midnight. Okay. Farm, do you have a foliar you recommend for fruit trees? It would be any different than other garden plants. Well, what kind of fruit trees specifically, I guess would be the first question. They're all fairly similar, but there is a bit of a difference between, like, say, stone fruit type trees versus like apples and stuff. Although I can't say that I could tell you the nutritional requirement differences. I'm not ultimately intimately familiar. I will say on this apple tree that I've been experimenting with and starting to have some really good results with, the combination I usually use are Advancing Eco Agriculture products. Their forage foliar feed is that's an excellent one. That's actually a combination of 4 of their products: C-Stem, Micropack, Phosphorus, PHT, and one other. I can't remember the other one, but that's a great combination one. But on my apple, I do a combination of forage foliar feed and C-Shield. And at fruit filling, sometimes I'll add a little bit of Hollow K, which is a available but not soluble form of potassium. But I think more important is calcium than that. So I would say do something like the forage foliar and the C-Shield. And the other thing I would do that has tremendous beneficial capabilities for a very, very, very small amount of material are Micro 5000 and PZ 1000. These are biostimulants and enzymes. I'll just see if I can show you this on screen. These two, like if there's nothing else you can get, these are the Mac Daddy. I don't know if you can see those very well. But I get them from Advancing Eco Agriculture, but they're actually made by Tenio Products by a man named Bruce Tenio, who did a tremendous amount of biological and soil study work, research, etc. So that's what I would say to use. But I'm curious what the stone fruits are here, so let me catch up on chat again. Still get nervous when we try to tweak nature. I do with love bugs. Yeah, you gotta be careful when you're tweaking nature. You gotta make sure you're tweaking her in the right way. I'll see if I can find the old document for you, farm, where they're turning desert into farmable land. Yeah, there's a bunch of that going on. There's one they're doing in China, which they were using. I think they were like olive trees, or maybe it wasn't olive trees. It might have been sugar cane. It was some tree that I was very surprised, but they were completely restoring desert using very minimal water and basically just planting the desert with trees that could sustain in the desert, and then they would those trees would build the ecosystem up, and then that would bring the rain back. But I'd love to know. I'd love to see. If it's something I haven't seen, I'm interested always. Might have had Stamets handed, if I can't remember. May have. The one in China I don't think did, but yeah, different. Different apple, pears, and cherries. Oh, nice. Yeah, I would do the forage foliar and the C-Shield and the Micro 5000 and the PZ 1000. I think those will make a tremendous difference in your tree health. The other thing I would do eventually, well, the sooner the better, really, but whenever, if ever you can afford it or you choose to do it, would be to do a plant sap analysis. If you can even do it just on one of those trees, that would teach you a lot about what the deficiencies are there, and then it's really easy to figure out what you need to do to correct for those deficiencies, both through foliars and through amendments. That plant sap analysis test that I did last year was phenomenally enlightening about what I was actually deficient in. Stuff that I thought I was pretty close on that I was still deficient in. It was namely calcium, copper, boron, zinc, and boron, copper, zinc. I want to say manganese, but it's not manganese. There was another trace that I was missing. Zinc, copper, boron. It's slipping my mind at the moment. Oh, wait, I got that in this track log. Hold on. I track all this foliar feeding stuff, when I do it, how much I put in, whether or not there's stimulants in it, all kinds of data to try and be able to go back and see, you know, okay, I got this response on this crop. What did I do to this? When did I do it? When did this response happen? That kind of stuff. Tracking, logging. It is. Oh, and I clipped it out because I didn't do it in that one. Come on, it's here. Boron, iron was the other one. Boron, iron, zinc, and copper. That's what it was that I was deficient in. And calcium. And the calcium I made up for primarily through calcium sulfate amendments. But I probably will use some Sea Shield as those plants get larger, because their calcium demands go up tremendously. And the Sea Shield is a combination of it's like crab and kelp or something like that. So it's got a nitrogen component also, so that's kind of nice. The Kubaki Desert in China, yeah, willow trees, yeah, that's what it was, right? A willow tree in the desert. That seems like the weirdest thing, but yeah, they're having tremendous success doing that. There was another documentary I saw. Hey, One Polly, what's going on? Love the seed, love the seed. Of course, my friend. There was another one I saw. Excuse me. I think it was in Australia, and I think they were using controlled grazing to revitalize soils too. There's so many things you can do that just use natural processes that are just such powerful tools for revitalizing soil and land. Glad you caught us, One Polly. How's things your way? Where are you at, by the way, One Polly? Are you in the U.S.? If you care to share. Stellar. Well, that's an excellent answer. I don't hear too many people say they're stellar. Toronto. Oh, Toronto. Okay, you're not that far away then. Toronto is about 6 hours from here, maybe 7. In a car, of course. In a plane, it's like 2, I think, or maybe 3. I guess it depends on the aircraft as well. I didn't realize you were so close, One Polly. That's awesome. Probably the Saudi farm. Yeah. Yeah, I think there was a Saudi farm too. I'm probably pronouncing that wrong. Saudi? It's probably Saudi, right? I don't know. My foreign pronunciation is lacking, we'll say. Do you have gardens up there, One Polly? Are you growing stuff up there? On your balcony. Okay, okay. So limited real estate, but you do container stuff. You know, I'll tell you what. There's something to be said for doing stuff in containers and inside. The care that I gave my plants when I just had small inside gardens or potted plants. There was a time when I had that for a short time. And, oh, shrooms too. Oh, nice, nice. It's amazing how much more care and attention you can give your plants when you're on a smaller scale. For a while here, I tried to just farm as much of this space as I could, and I found I couldn't keep up with weeding, I couldn't keep up with irrigation, and I had trouble affording the feeds to cover everything. So even this year, you know, I started really late this year. This whole season has been screwed up in every possible way for me. So my beds got in late, and I'm kind of running a smaller grow area total this year, but I'm able to care for it better. It's been nice to stay on top of weeds and feeds and irrigation and see things really thrive a little better. Gardening doing is great out here, except for the leafy goods like lettuce and spinach and greens all went to seed. We just had to replant. Oh yeah, did you get a hot spell or something, make them bolt? Do I think it's too late to plant corn? You know, I don't know your climate in Oregon, but I just put corn in. My last planting was like, I want to say like the 10th. I think the latest I ever planted corn here in New York and still pulled off a harvest, and it was a killer harvest, and we just beat the frost, and actually some of it came through a light frost. I think that was July 12th, I think I planted. I forget what the variety was. I think it might have been Bodacious or Incredible, so it would be in that 75 to 85 day range. But those did really well. Intense relationships are formed for sure, yeah. Yeah, you get a chance to really get to know your plants better, and, well, you know, it's a more intimate relationship. Biggest pot you have is 5 gallons. Yeah, I find when plants get bigger in a 5-gallon pot, you almost have to water twice a day in the summer to keep up with them. Oh, you have corn in pots too? Awesome, awesome. I've tried that before. It's hard to do. You really need really good soil. Used to say knee-high by the 4th of July when growing in New York. Yeah, everybody says that, but that's, like for cow corn, sure. You know, if you want a mature corn that's dried down and ready for harvest in the fall, yeah. If you want sweet corn, I mean, you can still be planting the 4th. One of the big local farms here, unfortunately they're not organic, but I learned a lot from watching those guys. And I was really good friends with the farm manager, like the head guy in the field. And he told me they planted, I think he said they planted every 10 days. They planted sweet corn every 10 days up through July 10th. And I think July 10th was their last planting. And they figured they could still pretty much guaranteed get a harvest. And I don't know what variety they were growing. But they could still get a harvest out doing that. And I, like my last planting here, we may not beat the frost. You know, our last frost date is October 20th. But that's no guarantee. We could get a frost in September, and we've had frost in September here. And back in the Catskills, when we had the family farm in the Catskills, we had frost in the middle of August before. So I could lose things to a frost anyway. But I always try to run that edge of the season as far as I can. And at the end of the day, you know, even if I don't get a harvest from the corn, that corn and buckwheat combination is building that soil and putting a tremendous amount of carbon and unlocking a tremendous amount of nutrition. So even if I don't take a harvest, it's not as big a loss as people see it. I've had people like, oh my God, you lost it to a frost. Oh, that's devastating. And they get like emotionally out of shape over it. It's like, well, no, that's part of the game. You're playing in the environment. Like, you can lose something to frost or a tornado or whatever. It happens. That's part of the game. It's, farming's kind of high-stakes poker sometimes. It was a sweet leaf that pushed me into other plants. Never looked back. Plants for life. Nice. Wrong pot. Biggest pot I have is 7 foot currently. We'll probably hit 12 by the end of the season. 7 foot. Holy crap, Justin. I wish I had a 7-foot pot and the soil to fill it. My biggest pot here is not quite 4 foot. It's probably 3 foot in diameter by 3 foot high. And those are heavy to move around. Like I move those in and out of the greenhouse in the spring and the fall, and that's always a pain in the groin. So unpredictable in the Midwest. Did not get snow until late January this year or something crazy. Yeah, weather in general here has been pretty unpredictable too. It's definitely not been seasonable. Hey, Chris from Homesteading the Hard Way. What's going on? How are you? Glad to see you. Hope things are going well down your way. Yeah, I agree, Justin, and One Poly. Plants for life, man. I love plants. I love being around them. I love interacting with them. Brett and Cindy's Tennessee Living. Hello, hello. Glad you made a live stream. How are you guys? I had some in December, not a lot. We didn't get a whole lot of snow this last year either. And I think it was the year before we got buried. So, back and forth. I think it's always kind of been like that here in New York, but you know, as a kid I remember we got pretty regular snowstorms every year, pretty seasonal, similar weather year to year. And the last 15 years maybe 20, it just seems to be all over the place. A drought one year, endless rain another, cold and snowy and windy one winter, and then warm and mild another. Just weird. Bad heat wave down there. Yep, we're scheduled for one. I think it's supposed to start Sunday. We're going up into the mid 90s, I think. We've been down in like the low to mid to upper 80s lately. It's been really nice weather actually, but I'm actually kind of looking forward to the heat. I feel like I don't want the summer to go by before we get some actual good summer heat. Should take callers. I'm not set up to take callers here. Well, I mean, I guess I could. I'm not quite set up for it. But interesting one, Polly. I don't know if you were here for this. I think I'm going to end up, I think starting next Tuesday at, well, it'll be Wednesday at midnight here Eastern time. It'll be Tuesday at 9 p.m. Pacific time. I'm going to be on TFR Live, and I'll probably dual stream here on YouTube as well. And then I'm going to have my own radio show, and then I will be able to take callers, and I want to get some guests, that kind of thing. So yeah, I'm pretty sure, I'm not 100% positive, I'm 99% positive starting next Tuesday though. That'll be the TFR live stream show will start. So that'll be awesome. I think that's supposed to be 2 hours. I don't know how I'm going to fill 2 hours. But I'm sure I'll find a way. It always goes fast when you get going on a live. You have somebody to talk to. Come visit here and I'll break you of that. I have no doubt North Carolina would break me of wanting any more heat. We've had to harvest a ladder several times. Wow, that's awesome. That's awesome. God, I wish I had the money to travel, Justin. I'd love to come out and see Oregon and see your setup. Maybe someday. Bomber, welcome. Hey, all just got back from the river in the rain. Oh, that's so nice. We'll be listening from the shower. Catches in the portal from that out in time and farm. I'm sending this heat downstairs for you. Hey, thanks, Bomber. I could use it. And it looks like it'll be here Sunday. Enjoy your shower. Glad you got to enjoy some time in the rain at the river. I know what a peaceful, wonderful place that is. Yeah, it's awesome, one Polly. It's exciting. I never thought it would go that far. I always just kind of figured it'd be a YouTube channel and maybe it'd be interesting to somebody. But I'm honored that there is as much interest as there is. If it's been above 90 here nearly every day for the last month, but at least we're getting some rain now. Yeah, see, that's the thing is that 90 isn't bad, but when you don't have any rain, boy, that 90 and sunny just burns every drop of moisture out of your soil before you know it hit you, unless you've got good mulches down. And we didn't get enough rain early enough, long enough this year for me to mow and collect good mulches and get everything mulched. I'm like super shy on mulch this year. So now I'm playing the irrigate regularly game to compensate for it. I really need to get more wood chips here. I need to get hardwood chips here, douse them with Sea Shield, and let them sit a year so I have a heavy mulch layer I can lay out. Plugged it yesterday on MBS. MBS. I feel like I should know what that is, but I don't. I want to say something Baker show, like the Kev Baker show, but that'd be KBS. KBS. Oh, it was KBS. Oh, you did? Oh, thanks, One Polly. Yeah, Kev's a great guy. He has some awesome guests. I haven't been able to get into his shows in a couple of months now. Things are just too busy. But I really enjoy his show. I enjoy his sense of humor. Anyway, thanks, One Polly. I appreciate it. In the 90s in Tennessee also. Okay. Well, you know, that's to be expected this time of year, right? Gemini Moon, hey, how are you? Welcome. Good to see you in. Oh yeah, don't forget to like. Thanks, Chris. Appreciate it. Cheers. What is that emoji, Gem? Is that a hug? I don't know what that emoji is. But thank you. I'm sure it's something positive. Some of it looks like you just drank, just like you drank all your coffee. You know, someone that looks just like me drinks all my coffee all the time. Every week I run out. I get my coffee from the local coffee shop here, and I always get coffee that I actually know what days they roast the blends or the beans that I like, and I have like a custom blend that I do. I have to say, the difference between fresh roasted, fresh ground coffee and coffee that's even sat for like 5 or 6 days is phenomenal. Every week when I get the restock, I'm always amazed how much more caffeine is there, how much more energy I get out of it. It's really amazing. And the flavor is always like 10 times better. It's really amazing. Ever try to go coffee? Funny you should mention that. I have a coffee tree in my greenhouse. I looked into love coming from the top of your head. Oh, thanks, Jim. Well, thank you. I do have a coffee tree. In fact, that same coffee shop we were just talking about, they were throwing the coffee tree out. They had it out by the dumpster. And I saw that tree sitting out by the dumpster, and I could not, for the life of me, get past letting that poor coffee tree go in the garbage. So I grabbed it, and I brought it home, and it's in the greenhouse. And I have not been trying to grow coffee beans on it, because I'm not going to sit here and do supplemental lighting to get, a quarter cup of coffee out of it. But I do have a coffee tree in the greenhouse, and someday I hope to have the room and the extra lighting energy to actually produce coffee on it. But no, I haven't. I did get a new tea tree this year to grow my own tea. Unfortunately, I think it died. That's the second tea tree that I bought, and the second one that died, and I don't know why. I don't know if I'm getting bad stock or if I'm not giving the environment they want. Every time I get a tree like that, I go read up on what they like. I try to provide an optimal environment. I love them. I care for them. And once in a while, you just lose a plant. Yeah, I've seen it done too. I think it was Michigan Gardener that did a huge coffee tree in a planter. In and out for the winter, yeah. I just haven't like I haven't dedicated the resources and energy to try and get it to flower and fruit, but I do have that on my long-term punch list or bucket list, so to speak. The one I'd really like to amplify, I have these Meyer lemon trees, and man, those Meyer lemons are just, you've never had a lemon until you've had a Meyer lemon. Oh my God, are they good? And they're huge. They're like an orange. They're like a softball. So those I want to keep propagating, and I'd love to build a bigger, sustainable thermal mass greenhouse and have a small lemon orchard in that greenhouse, and actually be able to sell local fresh lemons in like December or January. I think that would be a really awesome niche market to hit. I don't know if I could make it pay, but I think I could with the right greenhouse design. I thought about doing that BNC, but we put enough up. Most things are producing a little. Oh, what I missed? I missed something. Going for round 2 in the garden. Ah, okay. Awesome. Yeah, I'm still planting round 1, which has become round 2. Basically trying to... Round 1 and 2 are the same this year, sort of. Doing some late plantings, but I have to report you to Plant Protective Services. For neglect, huh, Jim? That's fair, that's fair. Can't wait to get a lemon tree. Is thermal mass greenhouse underground? Ideally, it would be in part in the ground, yes. I've done a tremendous amount of thermal mass experimentation and greenhouse experimentation, and I definitely, the next rendition, it has to be, really should be into the side of a south-facing slope is really the ideal way I would do it. And most of the greenhouse recessed in the ground, and then you don't have the thermal extremes. Yeah, basically, yeah. I don't know if you've seen much of my greenhouse stuff, one Polly, but I do have a small greenhouse, and I heat it with wood, and I use thermal mass to help regulate temperatures overnight, so that I don't have to be stoking 24/7, 365. Still getting squash, cucumbers, tomatoes, peppers, and plenty of okra, enough for daily meals. Nice, nice. Yeah, I don't have anything, no fruit on at all yet. Normally, about now, I'd be starting to get my first tomatoes, but they went in super late this year. I have to double up to get the amount we want to store. We got more property the other day, so next year a new garden spot. Nice, nice. Yeah, it never hurts to double up. There was a Meyer and a Ponderosa here when I bought this place. The Meyer got shaded out, and the Ponderosa is still producing a few each year. Nice. Meyer got shaded out, and Ponderosa. Like 3 feet underground? I think I would go deeper than that. At least here in New York, well, in Toronto too. I think I'd go more like, I think I'd be like 6 feet in the ground and only maybe stick about 2 foot of the greenhouse up at it. But again, I said you kind of want that in a side slope. But yeah, earthship is basically the concept. Yeah. Yeah. Almost exactly the concept. With some tweaks to improve efficiency, performance, and regulation. And of course, I'd take my Raspberry Pi set up there with the sensors, plug that in, and monitor, regulate, and control anything else that you wanted to accessorize off solar power. Then you're completely grid independent. Barring EMPs, you're set. You get an EMP, well, what can you do? Go back to literal physical controls, physical thermostats, and that kind of stuff. But just planted 24 more tomatoes last night. Oh wow, that'll give you a heck of a yield. I think we're going to put a greenhouse and start selling plants. Local one closed down. Yeah, I hear there's good money in that, Chris. I know the people around here that have greenhouses like that. I think they make some pretty good bank doing that. The trick is that scale thing of being able to get soil and pots cheap enough. And then after that, yeah, there's not much to it. And then, of course, in North Carolina, you don't have the same heating season requirements that we do here. Like, we could be running heat here out into May. And like this year there were a couple nights in the end of May we were down to like 27 degrees. Like it frosted a lot of our apple blossoms. That apple tree out here was loaded with apple blossoms, and then we got that last late frost, and it actually worked out really well. It thinned the apples out just enough to get a nice fruit load on that tree. That's a long-term goal. Earthship. Yeah, I'd love to do something like that too. One Poly. I gotta own land first, though. I don't own any of the land I'm on. I love this property, and maybe someday it'll work out. I'll be able to get it, sell it, buy it, or some deal. I don't know how I would do that. It's way out of my league financially at the moment. But I'm going to keep plugging away. Great video on Wallopedia about a guy growing oranges in Nebraska. Yes, YT. That is an awesome setup. I like his thermal mass with the fan system. That's pretty cool. Yeah, that's an excellent video. If you haven't seen that one, Polly, you probably would really enjoy that. Get one with the fans and the heater, no cover, cheap. The greenhouse. Yeah, and the covers aren't that expensive. Well, I mean, yeah, they're not that expensive comparatively, really. I mean, that's all I bought when I built my greenhouse was the plastic. Actually, a friend of mine helped me with that. He bought it. But I built the rest literally from sticks from the back. Went out and cut poles and built it from scratch. Land is key. Yeah, you're welcome. Definitely check that out. Nebraska oranges. That dude is really cool. He's got a really awesome. It's not just a greenhouse. It's an ecosystem in his greenhouse. It's really beautiful, well done, very permaculture-esque, I would say. Really, the guy really thought it out well and implemented it well. The only thing that I would do different with that is I wouldn't have the fans running on grid power. I'd have those on solar power. But I think that's the only difference I would make there. I mean, it's like that one last click to go completely independent of the grid. Not that there's anything wrong with the grid. I mean, look, all the servers we're using right now, the computer I'm using right now, most of the equipment you guys are using right now is all on the grid. But it's nice to have that independence. We had a really wicked storm here 2 or 3 years ago, a March storm that just wiped out power for several days, brought down power lines. It was a wicked storm. And we actually had a tree come down on the house here. And man, it was a real relief to be able to go out to that greenhouse and plug it into solar power and charge my headlight batteries, charge my radio batteries, check in on local radio nets, and see what the radar was doing, what the weather's doing, and be able to call for help if I didn't need help. But it was nice to fall back to that. And without that solar power in the greenhouse, I wouldn't have had that. I'd just been, go plug into the truck or the car, I guess, for power. But how long are you going to do that before you run out of gas and you got to go to a gas station? So on and so on. You know the deal. I'm still green, but I have green thumbs and good luck. Nice. Trace and soil isn't a problem here. We have to have tobacco and hemp plants anyway. Oh yeah, right. Yeah, you guys start all your own tobacco plants in trays there? Do you start in trays and plant out from trays? Or do you seed direct in the field? Learned so much here. Awesome one, Polly. I'm glad. Thanks. That's great. That's great. That's been the whole the whole reason I started this channel. I used to have my own forum hosted on a server, and it was kind of discouraging because it really didn't draw the traffic I was hoping for. I was hoping to reach more people. So then I started the YouTube channel, and then I just couldn't afford to keep the server running, so I shut it down. And fortunately the YouTube channel's growing and we're getting somewhere, so I'm glad I'm helping you though. I'm glad you're learning something. And that's great. That makes me feel good right in the heart. Your house is on about 50% solar. Nice. Nice. I've gotten through a few hurricanes in my small solar system and my rocket stove. Yeah, man, those little simple tools are so effective and powerful. How does that work? Yeah, is that a grid tie system? And one Polly says, where does one get tobacco seed? I ordered tobacco seed online years back, and actually I still have a ton of it. I have no idea if the seed is good. But it's not too hard to get a hold of. Still on generators and propane. Oh, that's nice to have that backup. But we had that at I used to work for an engineer and land surveyor, civil engineer. And the whole office and house at his place was backed up with a 15 kW generator. And I think it sucked down that 1,000-gallon tank in like a day and a half or something. It was amazing how fast you burn through that propane. It's just, woof, gone. 2 electric panels. Oh, 2 separate panels. Okay, that's a nice setup. Hey, one Polly, thanks. Thanks, man. I appreciate that. Solar oven too. Don't overlook a good solar oven. You've got some real hot days and sit there and cook a whole chicken or even bake in them. Yeah, I've heard that. I've always had wood stoves and a more than ample supply of wood around. So I always just go to the wood stove because it's easy, and most of my cooking I do at night. I eat really late. I eat once a day, and usually really late, somewhere between, depending on the day and the season, somewhere between midnight and 4 or 5 in the morning is when I eat. I know, I'm a weirdo. Trade seeds, we could do that. I'm horrible about getting stuff in the mail, though, I gotta tell you. So, horrible about getting to the post office is really what it comes down to, because I go to the post office about once every 4 to 6 months, and I never stock up on stamps or envelopes or any of that. But we could trade some seeds. I'd be down for that. I don't know what it would cost to send something to Canada. I sent a friend in Holland some corn seeds last year, and it cost me $30 in shipping. $30 for 15 corn seeds to ship them to Amsterdam. I couldn't believe it. So at that rate, I can't send a lot of seeds out. I'm just on a very, very small budget. Like if you take a shoestring budget and you cut that in half, and then you cut that in half, so like a quarter of a noodle of a shoestring. That's my budget. Local seed distributor sells, but is expensive, a few $100s an ounce. Really? Because like, man, like I think I have like 2 ounces of tobacco seed here. I think they were Montcalm, Maryland, and Virginia. I think are the 3 that I had. Oh no, and I had Oklahoma Mennonite was another one I had. I don't know if those are any good. I actually meant to get those out and put some in this year, but again, this whole season, this whole year has been really, really different and wacky for me, and not just from the COVID thing. Got that on my list. Could probably make one, but there are some good ones out there. Yeah, I actually was looking at building a solar dehydrator for a while, but I realized, you know, I'm better off to just do wood here, because that, you know, there's some stuff you can dehydrate that way, but some stuff can't sit for that 8 or 10 or 12 hours overnight where the humidity builds up. So I tend to use wood-fired stuff for heating, and also because I have an unlimited supply of firewood, and I have a tractor, I can go out and skid a log back and have, you know, a week's worth of firewood in 20 minutes. Yeah, one Polly, yeah, $30 for 15 corn seeds, and I had to fill out customs forms. It was just a nightmare, but he's a good friend, and he asked me for some of my blue corn seeds, and I sent him some, and then he put them in, they didn't germinate. It's like, sometimes you just can't win. Pretty strong restrictions sending seeds to Canada for some reason. Yeah, and you have to fill out customs forms for pretty much anything you send anymore, I think. I don't know, did you have to fill out customs forms there at Geeky, or did you manage to just send an envelope? I think those were small seeds, so you might have been able to slip those through. Some varieties are more. An ounce will set 100 acres or more. Yeah, well, yeah. That's the thing. An ounce of tobacco seed is a mountain of seed. It's literally millions of seeds. I think it's like 3 or 5 million seeds to the ounce or something like that, Chris. Is that right in there somewhere? They're a really tiny, tiny seed. Civilians are treated like mushrooms, kept in the dark and fed fertilizer. So true, and welcome wave function. How are you? I sent seeds to Australia for $3. Wow. Yeah, but this is our U.S. Customs borders BS. Well, the CIA. I better not. I better not say what I'm thinking. But yeah, our customs and borders. I'll leave it at that. Costs more to ship to England for some reason. Australia is pretty cheap. I'm trying to think. I don't think I've sent anything to Australia ever, but I have sent to Europe a few times. Mostly Holland. I have friends in Holland, and every time I try to send something there, it's crazy expensive. I got to fill out customs forms. It's just a nightmare. I really wish it wasn't, because, like, my friend in Holland, I would love to share more seeds with him. I just can't afford $30 every time I send a package. And if the package gets bigger, then it's $60. And it's like, I can't spend $60 to send seeds. Like, that's crazy. Canada has some really strong laws on plant products in general right now. Yeah. Yeah, the U.S. has a tremendous... I mean, there's so many laws on the books about importing plants and exporting plants in the U.S., you probably violate a law no matter what you're doing, no matter how legal you think it is. I'll bet there's 3 laws you're violating you're not even aware of. But yeah. Can of worms open. Well, you know what I'm insinuating, One Poly. I don't think I need to go all the way down the rabbit hole on that. Costs US $75 to ship Yorkshire George, $25 to ship the same thing to the Living Dream. Yeah, right. Yeah, you try to send anything to Europe, and they rape you for it. I mean, it's just... Like when I did the plant sap analysis, I'm fortunate enough I only had to FedEx that to Ohio. But the shipping was more than the plant sap analysis test. The shipping was $72. It was 24-hour shipping because it had to be packed on ice and shipped because it's a plant sap test. But I shipped it there, and then they ship it to Holland to Nova Crop Labs to be analyzed. And I'm just glad I didn't have to ship it directly to Holland, because I imagine, I mean, if 15 corn seeds cost me $30, for a quart, well, it's 2 quarts of plant material, an old and a young leaf. They probably charge me $180 or some ridiculous thing like that, By the way, your bee vids are an almost unhealthy obsession. Oh, thanks. Yeah, I really enjoy the bees. That top bar hive. I wasn't super excited about the top bar hives initially. I don't know. I like modular systems. I like something I can interchange and build, stack without a lot of fuss. But I found that's really easy to manage too. It's just a little different. But I really like that what that top bar hive's doing. So that's exciting. And my bees are thriving this year. So it's an obsession for me too. And I agree with Geeky. There's nothing unhealthy about that obsession. Finally, supper time. Y'all have a good night. Enjoy the processor. All right, sounds good, Chris. Enjoy your dinner. Hope you guys break that heat spell and drought. And I'll try and catch you guys on Friday night. If you guys haven't seen Homesteading the Hardways channel, please do check out Homesteading the Hardways channel. Those guys have a great channel. And Chris ain't going to pull no punches on you. He's going to play it straight. If you want to learn something, he'll tell you the realities of what he's doing. And he's a really smart man. You should check his channel out. Please check your MeWe messages. I included my mobile number. Oh, okay, awesome. We'll do, Justin. We'll do. Yeah, I just haven't gotten back to MeWe in like, I don't know, at least a day, and even the last time I checked in was like a quick look in on things. The bees are epic. My son has been in Nova Scotia. He's 14. Thanks. Yeah, they're cranking. Thank you, Geeky. Appreciate that. Yeah, and while I'm talking about other channels, also check out Geeky Gardens. And I don't know, I think Justin still has content up. I think he's just not putting new stuff out. Is that right, Justin? So check out Justin Goodearth's channel as well. And anybody else in here who has a channel with content, speak up. I'm more than happy to share your links. Let's keep the network live, huh? Your son your son has bees. I read that it has been in Nova Scotia, and that didn't make sense to me. Has bees in Nova Scotia. He's 14. That's awesome. My son was here for about, I don't know, 2 or 3 months, which is a whole complicated thing, but while he was here, he really enjoyed being around the bees, and he actually was coming out and holding the camera, filming for me a little bit, and he was really enjoying interacting with the bees. I was hoping we'd have some more time for him to be able to get into beekeeping, but I think as time goes on, he will come back to it. I think he has a lot of very similar interests to me. He's like a walking Xerox of me in a lot of ways. So hopefully he'll come back to it. Can't stop the signal. No, but you can retract it. Already subbed. All right, good. And let's see, it's 9:58 p.m. That means that the Paranormal Portal is going to go live in about 2 minutes with Brent Thomas. And I know most of you guys already are aware of the Paranormal Portal, but just for anybody who's watching this stream later on, I don't know if anybody even bothers to watch these streams after they've broadcast live. But if you haven't seen the Paranormal Portal, and if you're not familiar with the Paranormal Portal, I highly recommend you check out the Paranormal Portal with Brent Thomas. Does all sorts of paranormal investigations. Thank you, Geeky, on the link. And he just puts on an amazing show, amazing production quality. He has some really excellent guests on, and there's always a new interesting discussion and topic on there. And Brent's become a real good friend of mine. And I've been on there a couple times as a guest, one for nutrition and one on water. And if you haven't checked those out, you should check those out as well. Those are really good discussions. Yeah, one Polly. Bees are teachers. I really am enjoying learning from the bees and watching them. And I'm amazed how many little eccentricities and details I'm learning by watching and interacting with them. And I have to say, being a beekeeper really helps you do that, but you really form a much more intimate relationship with the bees, and you really get a chance to understand what they're doing. Bomber, cooking supper. Well, I hope you're making something good, and I guess I'll see you over at the portal. I hope your food is delicious. All right, yeah. I'm going to close this stream out. We'll head over to the Paranormal Portal. Thank you, everyone, for supporting the Pharmacy Seeds Network. I appreciate your interaction and participation. I don't know if I'll be doing this live stream next week. I might switch this live stream over and just do the Tuesday night, because I can't stream every night and get anything done on the farm. So I'm not sure about that, but I'm 99% sure that Tuesday night at midnight Eastern Time, 9 p.m. Pacific Time, I'll be on TFR Live with a new show. I hope you come over and check that out, and I will try and dual stream that here on the YouTube channel as well. So we're covering multiple platforms. Anyway, thank you everyone for coming in. I appreciate it. Let's head over to the Paranormal Portal. Have a good night, everyone. Thank you.